Welcome to today's stream. I'm glad to see so many of you today. So the way I operate, for those of you who are new, I usually check to see if there are questions at the beginning of the stream. You can ask any kind of developer questions. You can even ask me to build something. I will try to do my best and show you how to do it, or at least show you how I would do it. If it's too difficult for the stream, I can just give you some pointers. And then also, after that's done, I usually work on some kind of project. In this case, it's going to be a therapy bot that's going to use AI everywhere. And then at the end, I look at the questions again. If there are new questions, then I answer them. So it's going to work. It's going to work like that today. So if you guys have any questions right now, please add them to the chat on the right. Otherwise, I will start playing around with this bot. And the recording will be available today. Yes. I believe it was available yesterday as well. Yeah. All right, Jack asks, can you build an AI task? And if there's a message, for example, about returns, we'll send a button in that message. If there's a message, for example, about returns, it will send, okay, so I think, can you give me like an example of a transcript, like a very, very simple conversation between the bot and the user? I think the answer is, I mean, can you build? It's yes. But if you want me to build it on the stream, I will have to get a bit more context. I'm gonna delete this node. Actually, I'm just gonna open a new bot, and maybe I can just do this right in front of you guys. I don't need this anymore. Let me just delete that. Okay, I'm gonna create a new bot, and this will be the temp bot. Close. So when you when you work at Botpress, I feel like the big thing that you have to do is not click open in Studio immediately and just first rename it to something so that you'll remember what it is. So this is just the temp bot for answering questions. Is that too long? No, it's not. And then edit in Studio. All right. Okay. So Jack's second message was, I want to do a refund. AI answer, okay, press this button, you can make a return. Okay, I think I know what you mean. So I'm gonna create a new bot from scratch. And this shouldn't take more than 1 or 2 minutes. So I'm gonna delete this. Meanwhile, guys, if you have more questions, just ask them. I will hopefully be able to get to them. Okay, so what we need basically is we need a check, right? Because if someone wants a refund, then we want to show a button. If they don't want a refund, then we don't show a button. But this could apply to anything, right? So the very, very simple way of doing it is just going into library here and creating an intent. Actually, there's an even simpler way, so I'm going to do that. You don't need to go into library to create intents. You can actually just click add card like this and add an intent. Oops, I dragged it accidentally. Let me remove this. And then here you can just type refund. I want a refund. Please give me a refund. We're just giving it examples of what we want to catch. So then the AI will like look at these examples and say, hey, is the user's message what this is? If it is, then we're going to send another message. So the message we'd want to send is something with a button. So we do single choice, and we'd have one button, which would be refund like this. Okay, and otherwise we just say something like, I can't handle this. I can only do refunds. Okay, so like if we give it a go, I'm just gonna give like some kind of prompt. Are you sure? And then here it will be like, yes, I want a refund. Okay, so this is the simplest way to do it. So if you start your conversation here, I'm not gonna type hi because I haven't handled that, but like basically if I say refund, it's asking me and I have a button like this. And then you can have logic here to handle that. Also, if the user doesn't click the button and they just talk, you can also handle it like this. So that's generally how I would do it. You asked specifically, I noticed, AI task, right? I think. Yes, can you build an AI task? So this is the normal way of doing it. There's no reason you can't do this with an AI task. I'm going to show it to you right now. It'll take another 20 seconds. I'm going to click variables. Where are my variables? Here. So I'm going to click create variable, and I'm going to say user wants refund, like this. I'm going to set this to a Boolean, which just means true or false. Does a user want a refund or not? I'm going to click add, like this. And now that we have our variable right here, all we have to do is create an AI task, like you mentioned. We know the output will be here, user wants refund. And then what we're going to say here is, given the user input, determine if they want a refund or not. Okay, and then the AI task input here, we just have to remember we need to send the event.preview, which is just the user's last message, basically. So if we try this, should work. So, oh, sorry, one last thing. So the intent is really like a shorthand for this, but it doesn't just shorthand the AI, it also shorthands the transition. So I have to handle this. It's not enough to just store it to a variable. And to do that, I'm going to click add card, and I'm going to click expression here, push this here, and then I'm going to write, actually we can use AI. So here in the label, I can just say user wants a refund. I'm going to press enter. And then the condition here, because it knows we have this variable, it's just going to add this as a condition. And then I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to restart the conversation to show you that it works. Or not, if I made a mistake. I type refund. And okay, so we see it works. I just want to make sure because I had the intent here. But let's see, AI task. User wants refund, false to true. Right, so if you want to like always like understand what is going on, it's always a good idea to like click the last user message you sent, or the one you want to investigate. And then in the event debugger here, you see all the steps, and you see the evolution of your state. So like the variables themselves being changed to true or to false or to set to null or whatever it is you want. So by seeing this, I know it's true, and then I know this activates, and then we send the user here. All right, so that's how you would do it. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer for that question. Did we have any other question? Let's see. Cloncho. All right, I think Cloncho was first. Yes, I have a question. How can you stop the conversation flow and get the last bot answer? Stop the conversation flow and get the last bot answer. Could you give me a use case? I'm not sure what you're trying to accomplish here. Stop the conversation flow, I know how to do it. Get the last bot answer. Oh, okay. It would be better if you had, okay. Agent int he loop for the Botpress API. Yeah, this is kind of a use case for using the API or the client. You might be able to get it. Okay, this I'm not sure if I'm going to get on the stream, right? But use the Botpress client is what you're going to want to use. This uses the API. And let's create a new flow that's really simple. So to end the conversation, you would send the user like this. You would send you would link it up with an end node like this. Now, what I would do is I would go back to, sorry, here to flows. I would go to conversation end in here. And then what I would do, oh, so see, we wrote on explicit ending. So actually, just a quick intro here. If you do something like this, it will not trigger the conversation end flow. But if you do something like this, it will, because you're explicitly saying it's the end node. Okay, so back to this here. What I would do is I would click add card, execute code. And then I'm not sure if this is going to work, but get the last bot message for this conversation. We have the conversation ID. Not sure if we can do this. Okay, it's using Access, it's not using the client. Theoretically, this should be good, but we're missing authentication. Let's try with the client. Oh. I'm gonna accept changes real quick and just see what we have in our client object. We want to get, I think get, is it get message? 1 second. This is a curveball you're throwing me. So I think it would be like this. Oops. Let's see. Do we have get conversation? We do. Props read only ID. Okay, we have the conversation ID here. That's what it is. Okay, I'll wait. Yeah, all right, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do it right now. I'm going to delete all this. Oh, actually, last bot message. This is not an API. I don't think so. I don't think it's an endpoint. I think it was a hallucination. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to just display this. Const, what are we going to call this? Conversation. I'm going to try more stuff here. Const messages. Do we have a wait? Client dot get message. Get all workspace quarters. Let's see. What about list? Do we have list? Ooh, okay, we have something. Now we're on to something. Okay. Let's see. We need the conversation ID. Okay, so an object with the conversation ID set to event.conversation ID. Okay. I'm still not sure why I'm doing this, but it's fun. I'm glad. I think this will work actually. So const last message is set to messages message.length -1. I think this might work actually. Oh, here. What did I do wrong here? Messages.length. This messages response. Okay, it's probably a data or something. Messages. Dot. Messages. Okay, I see. Here. It doesn't directly output an array because there's pagination issues. So I'm here assuming there's no pagination issue. Oh, hello, Chris. Nice to see you. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna try this live. Oh, actually, I should like output this or do something. You know what? I'm gonna like display it so we don't need to go in the logs. Okay, workflow.last message. Let's try this. Last message is not set. This is an array, so let me just stringify this real quick. Stringify. Like this. Okay, now I need to define this and I need to display it. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable like this. I'm going to add it, and where was I? I want to display it. So text, and then I'm going to call my workflow dot last message like this. All right. Is this set to a string? Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to try it. So I have a conversation that immediately ends. Presumably you would have something before, but in this case we don't. All right, so we're getting something here. User to direction incoming. Okay, well, actually, all right, this is good, but also it kind of reveals part of the problem, which is there's no actual bot message spoken yet. So this is the message you are looking for, right? Because Clancho's question was, can you get the last bot's message at the end of the conversation? So this is the message you are looking for. Okay, so our goal is to get this message. Let's try it again. Okay, this is the message you're looking for, right? But that's not actually what we want to see. We want to see it here somehow. So I'm going to go back to conversation in. Then we have user ID, user 2, direction incoming. Okay. Okay, so we have a list, but that's a bit odd. Okay, let's go back to, why is it doing that? User ID, you know what, I'm just gonna display the list message. Right here, I am actually going to comment this out, paste it, and I'm just gonna try seeing what this is, because it might not contain what we're looking for. Or it might contain an ID and then we have to fetch another one. So I'm gonna try it again. Okay, let's see, meta, oh, user ID, user 2, direction incoming. Okay, it's possible also it's not there yet. List messages, what else do we have here? Conversation ID. I'm gonna remove this actually. We don't have auto suggest right now. Okay, it's a bit odd. Oh, I think I know what might be going on. Yeah, this is a local conversation ID, so I'm not sure if the API will pick this up. Okay, that's easy to test. So I'm gonna hit publish. And I'm gonna run it in production. So I'll hit the share button later and see what we get. Because if I were to show you like the JSON, so this is the event object that you're selecting, and you have a conversation ID here, and for the emulator we have a special kind of conversation ID, which is temporary. So I don't know if it's connected to the API. I don't think it is. So I'm gonna type hi. Let's see what we get here. Oh, okay, we're getting way more stuff. And you see this is the message you're looking for. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Do we actually want the first one? Okay, so there's two things here, I think. We have incoming and outgoing messages. This one has a, okay, this is, the output, the format of this is bothering me. I'm going to add some formatting, null and 2, I believe. Should be better. Just try it out locally first. Yeah, that's much better. Publish. All right, we're getting somewhere. I think we're almost there, actually. Oh, while we wait. Okay. We're not waiting anymore. I was gonna add the undo, not the undo, but the delete conversation. Okay, so this, I thought this would be a bit better, but let me just copy this and put it into JSON beautifier. Has to be something here. All right, paste, beautify. Nope, there's a problem. Okay, all right, but I can read it real quickly here. I think we should have a direction somewhere. Direction, outgoing. Okay, so we're looking for outgoing, and I think we actually, it looks like it's in the reverse order. So we actually want the first outgoing one. So let's go back here. Let's open this up. Okay, so we don't need this. We want to keep this, and then we basically want to get the first that has. So we can either filter or we can find. I think find will just be a bit faster. So messages dot messages dot message messages like this dot find, and then we have a message, and we're gonna return message dot direction. is outgoing. So that's the last bot message. Since it's in reverse direction, we actually don't need to care about pagination, which I'm thrilled about. But I do want to test this out, make sure I'm not hallucinating something here. But I'm gonna dump it in here for the moment. Save. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, we're back. Hopefully it did not delete. It did. Okay, well, it happens. No, actually I want to keep this. So what was it? I'm just gonna redo it. Const last message equals messages dot messages dot find message return message dot direction equals outgoing. The outgoing, outbound, what was it? No, I don't have it in here. Oh, I can see it here. Outgoing, yeah. All right, and then we want to just dump this here. I will still give it null 2. For those of you who don't know, this just basically it formats the output. So I'm going to say hit save. And usually if this is done well, it will basically like indent JSON and make it easier to read. So I'm going to hit close, publish. I'm going to try it out while we do this. Oh, actually, while we're waiting, I'm going to go back here, go to integrations, web chat, show advanced. Am I on the new version? Okay, I want to go on the old version, and I want to delete conversations. Oops, right there. Okay, so I can clean this up. All right, and I just saw a flash of green, so I know it's published. So I'm going to hit this to delete it. I'm going to type hi, and if all goes well, we should have the last message. Okay, so we have, oh, these are messages. What did I do? Let me go back here. I am finding the messages. This should be one message. What is going on here? Let me try hi. Okay, it's not finding it locally. That makes sense. Let me re-hit publish. I'm not sure if I did something wrong. The find method should return the first in the array. This switch should be, if you look at the types here, it's an array of message. So I expect message to be an object, but I'm getting this. So I think there was a problem with the save, maybe. Okay, yeah, it was just a problem with the save. Okay, so now we see our message. The last thing we want is to get the payload.text. So we actually want this to be last message dot payload dot text, like this. I'm not handling the cases where I can't find anything right now. Yeah, it's possibly undefined. But this is just showing you the solution. Oh, actually, before we hit publish, I want to, let me refresh maybe first because I hit publish. I want to add a second message. I'm just gonna copy this and paste it like this. And I'm gonna say this is not the message you're looking for, right? Because the question was, what is the last bot message? So we don't want to see this one. We actually want to see this one. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit publish. And I hope it's gonna work. But if it doesn't work, it's just a question of ordering by time, which should be quite easy. So Ramon, the topic today is gonna be, it was gonna be a therapy bot, but I'm getting some questions, and this is even better. So right now I'm showing you how to use the client to fetch the last message of the bot in a conversation. So I'm just saying hi. The bot says two things, and then at the very end, it looks for the last message via code, and it outputs it here. Okay. I'm just gonna paste the snippet because there's not really anything special here. I'm gonna paste it in the or here. This is not special at all. I'm just gonna paste this in the chat because this is basically the solution to the problem. Okay. Right. So I'm just gonna give maybe a small comment here. So how to this is how you get the last bot message in a conversation. Okay, so like if you want to remember what you said, you know, like a human would be like, they'd be talking about something, something interrupts them, then they're like, what were we talking about? Well, this is the function for you. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this. Oh, I just wanted to add another thing so we don't forget. Make sure to go to settings first, and was it activate, turn on the client. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna copy this here, paste it in the chat. I think we can make code blocks in Discord, right? Let me just here. How does this look? Right, I think that looks good enough. I'm gonna hit close. Just a reminder, chatbot settings, this needs to be turned on to be able to do these kinds of fancy tricks. So I'm gonna close this. And okay, I'm gonna read the comments. Oh, I see Chris has given me the answer. This not work since there is paging in the list methods. Okay. Patrick, take messages 0. The most recent should be at the start. Yeah, okay, so that's what I did. But you will have all the messages in there, the bot and the user. Okay, thank you, Chris. All right, now let me see if there's another question after Clonchos. Jackie, I already answered your question. How we can trigger first message by bot, not by user. This is from Vishal. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. You want to trigger the first message by the bot and not by the user. So that's an excellent question. It depends on the platform that you want to use. So in web chat, we have a dedicated function for that. I'm going to show it to you right now. And not all platforms support this, right? But they sometimes have like a way to have like a welcome screen or something like this. But I'm assuming this is for web chat because most people want to use that. So you need to go in the main flow here, right click, go to trigger, and then hit conversation started like this. And then standard node, and you just put some text like, hello, I am speaking before you. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but you'd probably introduce yourself better than I would. So I'm gonna hit publish and we can just try it out. I don't remember if it works in this preview, but in the snippets that you share, it should work. So I'm just gonna wait for it to publish. And then Ramon asked, could I do a vision agent? I think I can do that. So I'm gonna go back here, hit delete, refresh. There you go, so it works. Okay, so that's how you do it. Very, very simple. You add a trigger, conversation started. You don't need to configure this. And then you add text like this and it will appear here. Okay, I believe you can also actually add more than one message, so feel free to experiment. All right, I got my foot tangled in the microphone. Okay, all right, all good now. So next up, the vision agent. Okay, let's see. How do I demo the vision agent? Let me go to agents here, then turn it on. That's the first thing you got to do. Then extract from incoming images. It will grab it from any incoming image. All right, expose variable, turn. I think if I recall, I have to close this. I haven't done this in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go back to flows. I think the way to make this work is just to use a card. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. We have a card somewhere for this image, maybe? Vision? No, wait. Let me refresh because I turned it on. I'm not sure if I need to refresh. All right, let's go here. Agents, query knowledge base, that's not it. Oh, extract content from image. All right, it was hidden, so I kind of missed it. All right, so this is how it works. Generally speaking, you have to use basically like a card like this, and you have to provide it with an image URL. So I'm gonna go to Imgur, my favorite site. I'm joking. The reason I go here all the time, if you've like seen my live streams, it's because they don't block anything from different sites. So you can like load from site A images from this site, which means if there's a problem, you can't blame it on security. All right, what image here? Okay, let's go with something like non-controversial, tables, right? This is the what a table. Okay, I'm going to copy image address like this. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to paste the image URL, and I'm going to store the answer in a variable. We don't have a variable set for here, so I'm going to call this image. All right, and then I don't remember what I guess it's a string. So if you look at this here, when it says TT like this, it's a string. So I should be able to output this. I'm gonna click add card, text, and then workflow dot image right here. Okay, so let's just try this out. I'm gonna hit hi. And if this works, it should describe what's inside the image. Apologies. So vision is a little bit slower than text, right? Because it's a more complicated operation. But here we see the image depicts a scene in an outdoor setting, possibly in a backyard or patio area. The main focus of the image is a wooden table with a drop leaf design, where one-sided. Okay, all right. I'll take your word for it that this is all good. It does look like it's outside, right? So the idea here is not that you would do this by yourself, just by itself, rather. It's that you could feed this into some kind of AI task here. And then what you could say is like, come up with a joke based on an image's description, right? And then here we'd feed it, what is it? So workflow dot image. We feed it the image like this. And this is actually the description, so it's not a great name. I should probably have called it image description. And then we'd want to store this in a variable. I guess it would be a string. So joke would be, because it's just text, right? So I would hit save, and then I would display it. So here I do workflow dot a joke. Okay, now this is red because, oh, I did not select it. All right, like this. And I think this should do the trick, actually. Let's just try it out. Okay, why did the wooden table go to therapy? It had a lot of issues with its drop leaf design. Okay, wow, what a joke. How about this one? Oh no, that's an animated one. Okay. Is this an image? Oh, you can't like see images only? Okay, what about chair? All right, I'm having a bit too much fun right now. So, okay, there should be like a good joke here, right? So copy image address. And I'm gonna just change it here. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do event.preview. And I'm just gonna dump it here. Like this, I don't need to change my bot every time. Let's see what it comes up with. And while I wait, what else do we have? Donkey. How is this donkey? This is weird. All right, I'm gonna go back. It still hasn't come up with a joke. Let's see. It was a lying man. Why did the office chair go to therapy? Because it needed to recline and unwind. Okay. All right, and finally, let's do this, and I think we're good with this example. And let me check. For more questions. Let's see, what do we have after vision? Where was vision? So from Junior Aulak, hi Patrick, how can we check if a user variable has or has not a value in the end workflow using conditions? Okay, I think I know what you're asking. Okay, so why did the croissants go to the bank? Because they wanted to make some dough. Okay, I'm not sure about the joking capabilities here, but that wasn't the point. Okay, so the question now, if I understand it well, is how do you check the user variables in the conversation end? So here, I'm going to click standard node. I'm going to delete this. We don't need this anymore. And I think we can output the user variable directly. So I just want to display it right now, just to make sure. So stringify user. And again, I'm going to do null2 just to make it a little bit more easier to understand. And again, I'm going to go back and we're going to have a conversation that just ends immediately. Seems to be a trend today. Okay. Everybody's excited about ending conversations. So I'm going to type hi, and we are getting an empty object, which is good because we didn't set anything. All right, so let me set something. Anything really. I don't know what. Here. I'm going to click execute code, open this up. How would I use AI? I don't know if it's going to work here. Add a funny. Add a is funny. I don't know. True to the user. That work? Huh. Okay, so it actually added a little bit of logic based on the workflow variables, which is fine. But I'm just gonna remove it because I just want to do a quick test. Okay. All right. So our user object should have an is funny equals true property. So I'm going to, whoops, I'm gonna go hit this. I'm gonna try hi. And as you can see, we set it here. And then at the end of the conversation, we have access to the user object like this. Now, if you want to do different things based off of that, what you can do is you can go to expression and you can say if user is funny, like that. I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, because it's not typed. So in this case, you just need to write it out. So user.isFunny. Like this. So if that's the condition, then we want to say the conversation was ended and the user was funny. I'm going to delete this, and instead we're going to say the user was not funny and the conversation ended. All right, okay, so let's try it out. So I expect to see that the user was funny. Okay, and now if we go back to main and we create another node, we just move this out. So now we don't set it. Actually, I'm not sure if it's gonna, the user was not funny and the conversation ended. Okay, so the reason I was not sure is because if you, since we're attaching this to the user, I'm not sure if this was creating a new user or not, but it seems like it is. Because a same user can have variables attached to it throughout different conversations. Okay, so hopefully that answered that question. Where are we now? Okay, I think I got this one. How to get a refund. Okay, workflow name. How can we trigger first message by bot? That's good. Vision agent, we did that. Okay, agent in the loop. Okay, I think we're good here. Okay, we got a lot of comments today, so a lot of things to do. All right, Simply Great Bot says we would be cool if in the future we could share execute code cards, download them from the hub. It would be cool indeed. Maybe it's gonna happen. Okay, how can we trigger first message by bot, not by user? Okay, we did that. If user does not input response in 1 minute, should reprompt or something. Okay, that's actually a pretty interesting one. Let me think how to do this. How do we do this? Okay, I know how to do it, like absolutely, like for sure. I'm trying to think of how would we do it in a way that's relatively simple. I kind of want to do it with a timeout. Do we have a timeout here? I forgot. Yeah, we can use it with this right here. That's not ideal, because then you'd kick the user here, and then you would lose the state. Let me think. Let me think on this. I'm not sure that I have a quick and easy way to do this. Fixed schedule. That's a very good question. Maybe I can do this next week, actually. So just to think out loud, so you know what I'm thinking. Like the ways that would absolutely work is, if you have some kind of cron job. Cron job is just like a scheduled event. You just set it to every minute, and you have a table with all your conversations that are ongoing. And if ever any user doesn't talk for a minute, we could nudge them along. With client message, sorry, with not with client message, with the client library, we have a method. What's it called? Create message. Create message like this. If you use this to create a message, it will be sent to the user and it will not affect your flow. So we could use this to do it, to make it work. So it would not affect your flow. The problem with this one is it requires you either to call your API continuously or to have a table and then call the table every minute. I don't think I have time to do it today. I could maybe do it tomorrow if you guys think this is worth it. Not tomorrow, sorry, but next week. The other way to do it is we set a timeout to 1 minute here. So to do that, you go to settings here. Then you lower this to 1 minute, like that. And then you nudge the user. So you can say like text, you haven't said anything in a minute. Is everything okay? All right, I'm gonna close this, do like that. All right, we can actually try it out. Hi, like this. So this is one of the methods that will work. The disadvantage here is it's gonna kick the user out of the flow. So if you want to keep them there, it's maybe not ideal. So I would, the way I would do it, but I'm maybe more technical, I would create a table. It shouldn't be so difficult actually. So I think I'm overthinking it. So within my flows here, I'm gonna click add table, and then I would have conversation ID like this. I would have a last last updated at, or last user message. Like this. I think I'd use a date here, maybe. A date time. Not nullable, not searchable, save like this. Okay, this is not working. Let me just try a string that always works. Last user message. Not nullable, not searchable, save. Okay. All right. So I think I would have a table with these two. Then what I would do is in hooks, in before incoming or after incoming here, I don't think it matters. I would create store user message. Actually, we don't want to store the user message. Let's store user event. Let's just call it like that. And then I think we can do this from here, data to table. If I recall correctly, we can do this. If we can't, we can just create a webhook. We can add the webhook integration, call it via its endpoint, and send this information. That's a solvable problem. So here it would be, okay, wait. Let me do this code in an execute code card, and it'll show me how it works. All right, so if I create an execute code here, I'm gonna do this dot, okay, it's create record. So create record, and then we want conversation ID equals event dot conversation ID, and then we'd want what was it? User last user message set to. Let's see, how will we do this? I like simple things. I feel like the Luxon library might give us a minute, but basically just to show you real quickly, we could send date now like this. So generally along these lines, I think this is what I would do. So every time a user message is sent, we would create a record. And then what we do is within flows here, we have a trigger that runs every minute, and it checks to see is there anything that's expired. And if it is, then we use the client. So let me go back here. We use the client create message to create a message to the user. And that would absolutely not affect the conversation state in any way. I would just like add an extra message, which would be wonderful. All right, let me see the rest. Okay, so we have a final, I think it's gonna be the final question for today from, and I hope I pronounce this right, Vladi Yudi. How to distinguish new user and returning one. I think the way I would do it is actually just what I showed earlier with the user message. So check if a joke is funny. Move this. So right here, I would just check. I would just set like is new equals false. And all right, I think, do we have a session variable? Wait, session. No, we don't. Okay. So we would probably save it to workflow. To workflow or user. If you save it to workflow, you won't get it everywhere. So you might want to do something like user dot is current session new, something like that, and you would have like is new here as well, and then you'd basically check the first time, like if the user is not new, then this would be set to true. And you would use this variable to check, is this new session? Is this the first time they used it or not? And that's it. All right, I said this was gonna be the last question, but I see there's another one from Jasht123. I had trouble with inconsistent string parsing of SQL queries. and the issue with using multiple choice on buttons and drop downs, where it only allows you to select one option unless you type. Inconsistent string parsing of SQL queries. Is this part of Botpress or outside of Botpress? And then the issue with using multiple choices on buttons and drop downs, where it only allows you to select one option unless you type. Okay. There's a UX issue here with multiple choices. We can't always solve it, like especially with different platforms. They might require you to click only one. So the second issue is not there. There's not like maybe a real solution. It's not really a Botpress problem, but it is an annoyance. I understand. I think in those cases you just require users to type, and you can just tell them, or if you only want one, click one of the buttons. And then the inconsistent string parsing of SQL queries. Are you using some kind of integration, or where is the SQL query in this case? I'm not sure I understand. With Google Cloud. Okay. I think this is probably out of scope for Botpress. Or is it, are you basically trying to create a prompt from Botpress that you can use with BigQuery? Or you're trying to analyze a prompt? It's more of an AI issue, I think. In either case, what I would do is define a schema. If I'm understanding correctly, I would define some kind of schema that you want, like a where, I don't know, limits, whatever you want, like this. Then you create a variable, and with AI agent, you kind of, you can, sorry, not AI agent, with an AI task, you can come in and force these values to appear. Okay, all right, so we're coming up on time, so that will be it for today. But I really loved the participation today, a lot of fantastic questions, and I look forward to answering your questions next week as well. Oh, on the topic of next week, we're going to be trying something a little bit different next week. So Ermic, one of our new team members, is going to be giving the Thursday call that I usually provide. And what we're going to do is I'm going to try 30 minutes a day to just answer these questions. And we're doing that so we can see if we can get closer to the community, because sometimes you have an issue and you don't really want to wait so long. So we're running an experiment, and basically every day at the same time, you can come in and ask me questions, and I'll try to answer them at that time. All right, so I'm looking forward to next week, seeing how this goes. And until then, happy bot building. All right, bye-bye.